Hi, this is Tom Moyer. Welcome to Week 9 of Introduction to the Paralegal Profession. This week we're going to talk about an important topic involving investigations and the paralegal's role in investigations. And paralegals, as you could probably guess, play a key role in gathering facts, in interviewing the client, in gathering information not only to draft the complaint or a cross-complaint, but also to investigate information leading into discovery and from discovery, and maybe even leading into trial. So we're going to talk about some overview topics now that apply in a multiple number of areas in the litigation process. Let's start with legal interviewing of the client, and that's going to include the initial contact with the client. Oftentimes when a call comes in to the front desk at a firm and a person is asking to see an attorney, an interview will be scheduled, and relatively often the paralegal does the front end work. You will go in, you'll greet the client, you'll tell them a little bit about the firm, and you will give them the first impression of your attorney and of that office. And it's really important that that image is good and that it's professional. We're going to touch on a few things right now that will help you to do that. How you dress for that, not only for that interview, but each day when clients come in just off the street and want to talk to an attorney. You always need to be professionally dressed and ready to represent your profession and the firm in the best possible way. How you communicate is also a crucial key. If a client is talking with you and you're using slang and joking around about different things, not that you can't be a little bit light sometimes, but if it's becoming inappropriate, an image is going to form in that client's mind, and they're going to really wonder, is this the firm that I want to have represent me in this matter that means a lot to me? So those are a couple of things to watch for. Performing your job in the interview process, again, is going to reinforce a good image of the firm, or it can detract from it. So you can see your pivotal role in that process. Hiring the firm, that is an important part of the equation too. That client is coming in and they're not only looking and scoping out who the attorney is, they're looking at the firm as a whole. They're sizing up the office, they're looking around, they're looking at the receptionist's response, they're looking at the view you have, they're looking at the office you have. All of it goes into forming an image. Is this attorney the one I want to represent me in the case that I'm faced with? Now, there are several kinds of interviews, three main ones that we're going to touch on. We've already touched a little bit on the initial client interview, which is the lead up to all of the litigation that comes after that. This is where the attorney-client relationship is established and where the legal issues are identified, where they are defined. And you will do a rough sketch, a rough outline of what the client situation is, and the attorney is going to be very grateful to you. And it will really help enhance your career if you ask the appropriate questions at the right time and gather enough information without wearing the client out to form a good picture, a good overview of what's going on that includes specifics as to each of these individual issues. There's two components you need to pay attention to. An overview, getting an accurate picture of the setting, of who was there, who's involved, and then the specific details about transactions that may have transpired. Did you sign the contract? Did you get a copy of the contract? Who else was there? So there's particulars that you need to keep in mind and that you need to remember to ask about, because this is the time to do it. And going back to the client again after that, too many times can really portray a negative image of the firm. There's an investigative field interview that you will go out, and after you've done that initial client interview, you'll contact witnesses, you'll contact co-plaintiffs or co-defendants possibly, and talk to them about what they saw, what they heard, who they interacted with, was there paperwork involved, just a lot of different questions. And the questions that you ask, you're going to build a skill set at it. Because when you're interviewing someone, they may say something key, and it is a branch that you may want to follow. It is a trail that you may want to go down that could be crucial to the case. You're going to want to remember to not forget to backtrack and go back to the main trail. Go back to the main topic of discussion and continue down the format. There may be other trails you go down, but you must cover all the bases to form that complete picture so that the situation can really be sized up properly. An intake memo. That is the end product of your interviews and your legal investigations too. It is a memo that has specific parts to it, that includes particular details, usually an overview to begin with, then specifics, and then issues that come up, and then recommendations. Those are potential components to the intake memo, but there are other pieces to it too. Now, what facts do you want to seek? You can be talking to a client and you're going to have to sift through what they're telling you. They may be going all over the map, giving you every fact, everything in sight, and you have to steer that conversation. It is much like examining a witness in court. You are steering them down a path, and it's very like that. Look at it that way. Steering them down a path about the event, keeping them on track, keeping them on point, and making sure that they're giving you information that's not too long-winded, but that is long enough where it gives sufficient information to address what you need to know. So you need to keep your facts factual, not too voluminous, and if you're in doubt about something, should I ask more questions? Should I provide facts? Do it. It's better to have it on hand and be able to toss it, to disregard it if you don't need it, than not having asked it. There's a methodology to this also, where you take a list of factual questions that you can potentially prepare in advance, and you should, as much as you could, to kind of lead the client through a situation. Not that you're going to lead them in their answers, but you're going to lead them down the path and go down to specific benchmarks. Point A, this is where we're at. What happened then? We're going to go to point B now, where another thing happened. What happened then? A chronicle, logical order to that interview, and it will provide structure and give you a seamless, or hopefully a seamless, interview in the process. Find out what the client wants. Probe them a little bit. What are they looking for? Are they looking for damages in a particular type of thing? What are they looking for in particular? Make sure that you, as you ask your questions, that you ask open-ended questions. So what did you do then? Where did you go? Who did you talk to? Ask them overview questions. Okay, you saw A, B, and C. So what did that all mean to you? Ask close-ended questions. Did you go there? Yes or no? Leading questions. I'll bet you didn't like that, did you? Different types of questions will elicit different responses. So those are just a few pointers on what we're going to talk about this week. Remember to read all your information, your homework assignment. Take a look at the boards, read the notes on there. Contact me if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you on the boards. Take care.